You're listening to episode 102 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Dr. Debi Silber.
Yeah, well, what I see in my work so often is we do everything to desperately distract ourselves from ourselves, and we do this through numbing, avoiding, and we'll use food, drugs, alcohol, work, TV, keeping busy, reckless behavior, or even when we're abusing fitness.
Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hant, and welcome to Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we help you create an awesome life and lifestyle. From nutrition to fitness, mindfulness to peak performance, and relationships to money mindset, we bring you on an amazing journey to help you unleash your human potential. So here's a little bit about our guest today, Dr. Debi Silber. She's the founder of the PBT Institute. She's a transformational psychologist and a health, mindset, and personal development expert. She's an award-winning speaker, coach, and author of the Amazon #1 best-selling book, The Unshakable Woman: 4 Steps to Rebuilding Your Body, Mind, and Life After a Life Crisis. She's also the author of The Unshakable Woman, the workbook, which is the companion guide to the book, as well as 2 books recommended by Brian Tracy, Marshall Goldsmith, and Jack Canfield. Debi has contributed to Fox, CBS, The Dr. Oz Show, TedX, The Huffington Post, Shape, Self, Health, Working Mother, Forbes, Psychology Today, WebMD, Ladies Home Journal, Women's World, and Glamour, amongst many others. Her doctoral study led to 2 discoveries around how women experience and heal from betrayal. Based on her findings, along with 27 years of health, mindset, and lifestyle coaching, she's created a proven approach to help women heal physically, mentally, and emotionally from a life crisis, specializing in betrayal. So get ready to dive in with Dr. Debi Silber. Hey everyone, I want to welcome Debi to the locker room. Today's going to be a whole different type of experience on Lifestyle Locker Radio. We're going to be talking about betrayal. I know you're probably wondering, what in the world is, and how does this fit into lifestyle? But you're going to find out very, very soon. She works a lot with women, but this doesn't only apply to women. All right, guys, if you're listening, this is going to apply to human beings. So pay attention. Even though she specializes in women, you're human, so you're going to listen to this. So Debi, welcome.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to our chat.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. After poking around and seeing you on TedX and like 1,000 different places, I feel like you have a lot of really neat background, but you also, what you've been able to help people do is something that doesn't normally pop up in my head. Like, wow, how would this even make sense? But seeing what's going on and going, holy cow, this woman is a master. You said 27 years of doing this?
Oh yeah, I've been at this a long time.
Yeah.
I started actually I started in TV, and then it just didn't feel right. And then I became a trainer, and I was a trainer forever. And I said, okay, well, you know what? I need to pair this up with something. Became a dietitian, master's in nutrition. That led to becoming a whole health coach and functional diagnostic nutritionist, and then eventually this PhD in transpersonal psychology.
Which is kind of crazy because when I talk about lifestyle, you just hit like a huge chunk of all of the pieces of lifestyle in one time: the mindset, the body, the nutrition, all of these things. So that's so neat. So being that we're going to be talking about betrayal, you have to have had some type of experience in life to have this on your mind and feel that you need to help people with it. So what's your story?
Yeah, and absolutely. You don't study something to this level unless you've been hit pretty hard. And I had been in the fields of health and wellness and personal development and mindset forever. But then I had a family betrayal, a horrible family betrayal. And, the universe kind of says, okay, well, you didn't really learn the lesson you were supposed to learn from that experience, and gives you another opportunity to learn. And a couple of years ago, it was my husband. And so that catapulted me right into this PhD program in transpersonal psychology, which is the psychology of transformation and human potential. Because after that experience, he started transforming. I started transforming. I just didn't understand it. Of course, let's be very real here. I was devastated is not even the word. We've been together since probably longer than you've been on the planet, Josh. So
I'm older than I look.
So, I was like, how do I even make sense of this. And the hardest thing with betrayal is when the people you trust the most prove untrustworthy. Who do you trust? When the people you'd run to when other people are causing the harm are the ones causing the harm, what do you do? And so I jumped into this PhD program because I had to understand the mind, why people do what we do, how I could heal from it. And it was during this time that I had to do a study. So I said, okay, well, I need to really understand this. So I did this study on how women experience betrayal, what holds them back, what helps them heal. And I remember going into this thinking, how there are the stages of grief. If there was some sort of lifeline, like stages of betrayal, stages of transforming after betrayal, then that would just be a huge gift. And sure enough, that's what happened. And as far as my story, it was just the craziest time. And for my kids too. I mean, I have four kids and they were teenagers. And this was like, okay, what happens now? And it just absolutely everything we had known crashed and burned. And, but my husband and I slowly just said, well, okay, now the life we had known was destroyed and devastated. And he woke up. It was like, oh my gosh, when you lose the only things that matter to you. And when I saw things clearly, sure, it would have been very easy. And I know I had judged everybody in the past for rebuilding. And honestly, I could never have done this if he didn't completely become someone new. And I did too. So it's a lesson in transformation, in forgiveness, in second chances, in everything. And actually, a couple, just not even that long ago, we got married again.
Okay, very cool, very cool. To the two new people.
Two new people. And it's interesting because I remember seeing a forgiveness coach. I was like, I didn't even know they made those.
Yeah.
And she says, Deb, sometimes, you originally get married for, of course, love, but safety and security. And then you get divorced. And then your second marriage is all about helping each other grow. She said, I have never seen two people going through both types of marriages with the same people.
With the same people. Yeah. Isn't that great though? You can actually do it together and figure these things out together. Like the crash and burn, I can't imagine that being anything pleasant. I mean, I've been in battles with my wife and it's, and they're not long lasting and that they're tough, let alone you said your life going down and then both of you having to rebuild. It's amazing. It was absolute death and rebirth. You cannot create something new. It reminds me of those. You ever see those houses where they just keep sticking on new additions? Yes.
At some point, you got to just knock the house down and rebuild. And I use this example a lot of resilience and transformation. Resilience is bringing back to restoring, and we need that, on a daily basis. Like, even with fitness, you have to rebuild and you have to, restore, and it's a process. And I use this example with a house, like let's say your boiler goes, you need a new boiler, that's resilience. Or you need a paint job and you paint, that's resilience. You need a new roof, get a roof, that's resilience. Transformation is like a tornado comes by and levels your house. A new boiler's not going to fix it. A new paint job's not going to fix it. A new roof's not going to fix it. And in fact, all three aren't going to fix it. And you have every right to stare at the lot where your house once stood and say, this is the most horrible thing that's ever happened. And you'd be right. And you can call all your friends over and say, look at this. This is the most devastating thing that's ever happened. And they would agree. And you don't have to do anything. But if you choose to rebuild something great. You don't have to rebuild the same old house. And that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And just to kind of keep on this tearing down houses conversation. So that would be in the human, that would be something that's like uncontrolled. That's a crisis that's wasn't created necessarily by that person. Nature, it happened with nature, right? So, and I know there are self-induced things as well, self-induced crisis as well. So what would really be the difference in the human world, and how do we deal with that or work with that?
Yeah, well, what I see in my work so often is we do everything to desperately distract ourselves from ourselves, and we do this through numbing, avoiding, and we'll use food, drugs, alcohol, work, TV, keeping busy, reckless behavior, or even when we're abusing fitness.
Yeah.
We're running, desperately trying to run from ourselves. And we're doing this because, there comes a point in time where what used to work doesn't work anymore. What used to feel good doesn't feel good anymore. And we think we like change. We don't like change because it's going to shake up everything around us.
Yeah.
So we do that until we can. And then I've seen a couple different scenarios. One, I call it the self-induced life crisis.
Okay.
This is all about decision. That's the day, you make the doctor's appointment, you quit the job, you pack the bags, you join the gym.
Okay.
And you're different. Like you just, from that day on, like everybody around you knows, okay, he or she, they're done. They've made that decision. And then there's that opportunity when it gets done for you, like disease, devastation of some kind, the death of a loved one. And I've been there too. And that's where life as you've known it no longer exists. And there's this sort of psychological earthquake that goes on, where life is now before it happened and after it happened. And what do you do from there?
Yeah. So that internal, that self-induced life crisis, is that something that, I'm thinking of myself, like that's not something that's a lot harder to have that type of self-induced life crisis than have it come from the outside.
Well, it is because we don't change unless we have to. So when we're at that point where it really gets to this point where the pain of where you are becomes worse and bigger than the pain of the unknown.
Okay.
That's it. It's like we tolerate that it's like the devil, is better than the devil you don't know. And we fear change. So we're thinking, well, it's not bad enough, But I actually have a couple of questions that I'm happy to ask your listeners to really think about, because it'll let you know if you're doing that.
Yeah,
and
let's hear them.
Yeah, all right. Because then you can be real with yourself. You can't change what you're not aware of, right? So the first one is, am I numbing and distracting? If so, how? And just be honest. Like, am I using food or even, over exercising? What am I doing to just numb, distract, avoid? And then here's a question that nobody likes, but just get real with it. What am I pretending not to see? Am I pretending not to see that health issue? Am I pretending not to see there's an issue in my relationship? Am I pretending not to see I hate my job? Whatever it is, get real. And then the next one, what's life going to look like in 5 to 10 years if I keep this going? So keep this going, that health issue that you're not paying attention to, that relationship issue that you're not confronting, that, that job you can't stand. What's life going to look like in 5 to 10 years? And then the last one, what could life look like in 5 to 10 years if I change now? And we don't like this because that change is going to require, a shakeup in the people around us. But that's how transformation happens.
Yeah, I guess being real and raw with yourself is probably more challenging than having a disease hit you.
Something, it really is, because we think that it's easier just to run from it. Like, I know so many people in just the betrayal world, like, let's say they've caused a betrayal of a family member, a partner, a coworker, a friend, anything. They're dealing with the emotion of shame, which is one of, the most physically destructive emotions that we have. And they're doing all they can to outrun it. The energy they're spending in outrunning their shame is by far more than, you're going to need to have that difficult conversation. You're going to need to face it. But when you do, your life changes. When you can forgive yourself. I'm a big believer in self-forgiveness once you've done everything humanly possible to right that wrong.
Yeah.
Then self-forgive all you like. But you owe that to yourself once you've done the work. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of energy we're spending in just trying to outrun it.
Yeah, and when it comes to, just back and forth with betrayal here, when you're being possibly betrayed by someone, do you see the type of person that's being betrayed? Do they have certain patterns and certain things that they're doing that are creating those types of situations in their life?
Yeah, you know what? In my study, I saw something so consistent. And again, this was a study just with women, so men may be different, but the 5 stages, I mean, I could go into the 5 stages, but the sort of the setup, stage 1 was, and this is no blame, no judgment. I mean, I was doing this too. Women are so good at getting things done. We just are. But in order to get it all done, we sometimes have to turn down the feeling and turn up the doing. We become
Mm.
almost machine-like to get it done. So if you imagine four legs of a table, the four legs being mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, what I saw in every single woman in my study was we turned down and we only paid attention to two of those legs, the mental and the physical. It was as if our minds were just telling us what our bodies should do. And we turned down the emotional and the spiritual. So when we do that, we're turning down our intuition. We're not trusting our gut. We're not listening to our gut because we just have this to-do list that all we want to do is get through it. So not that this is, what makes betrayal happen, but it's what creates that blindsided feeling, because if you don't even have your intuition up, and you're just busy doing, you don't see anything coming and, crash. There you go.
Yeah, and I know in your research, I said that 82% of people truly want to move forward but don't know how. I'm surprised to me 82% sounds low. Like,
Yeah.
like people don't want to move forward. They would rather sit in their shit.
Yeah.
Like
it's so comfortable. It's so comfortable. And if they don't know or can't imagine who they'd be without it, they're not going anywhere. And that's the thing. Because when you're betrayed, especially the thing is, originally I was studying post-traumatic growth, sort of the benefit of trauma, whether that's disease, devastation, even natural disaster. And with betrayal, it's so different because you still have to grieve. You have to mourn the loss of all those things, but you have to heal aspects of the self that were so hard hit: trust, self-worth, confidence, this feeling of rejection, abandonment, like all that stuff. And it is so hard to learn how to build those things up again, especially something like trust. Again, like we said, you were blindsided by the people you trusted the most. So you may want, of course, you want to trust again, or you want to build again, you want to move forward, but the world as you've known it looks so different now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You got me thinking about, we talk about disaster and change. Even if it's, like the physical disaster, I've been in like bad weather. I lived in Florida in 2003 through 6, where they had hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. And you almost go into, at least for me, I went in almost into like a primal mode. It's like, okay, who can I help? Like, and it didn't make a difference if I got hurt or didn't make, it's like, who can I help? Do you see people like flocking into people that are getting betrayed? That do they kind of like when they're getting like into their little hole of betrayal? Are there people that will swoop in? Do you notice that have certain characteristics that might?
Yeah, there absolutely can be. But here's the thing: when we've been betrayed, we're so shocked, we're so blindsided, and we don't have the bandwidth. We're still managing our day, raising our kids, going to work, whatever it is that we're doing. And here's where we need support the most. But here's also where we're the least likely to reach out for it, because the study also showed we protect our betrayers. Because we don't want to be judged. We don't want, everybody may know them, love them. And there's also so much shame, so much embarrassment. So we don't want the pity. So we keep to ourselves. And I even remember in my own experience, for the longest time, it just became all about, okay, work. My clients they're paying me to help them. I have to be strong for them. So it was clients, kids, crash. Clients, kids, crash. Like, that's it. And I'm sure there would have been a lot of my friends would have been there for me. I was the one who just, went into hiding until I was ready.
Oh, interesting. I feel like I'm getting a finger pointed at me as I'm like, I'm thinking of my life right now. No, seriously and jokingly, it's. Thank you. I'm getting a session here, I feel like. So also you mentioned before, the 5 stages, right, of I guess of breakthrough. But before we do that, one, the people that are being betrayed, do they generally have? I know they have like psycho-emotional symptoms without a doubt, but do you see things physically manifest as well in people that are being betrayed more, or are feeling that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, think about it. When you're betrayed, you're shocked, you're blindsided. Now you've ignited the stress response.
Hmm.
So anything, adrenal issues, gut issues, your immune system is suppressed, your hormones are going crazy on you, accelerated aging. You name it, just about everything.
Yeah.
The body can't handle it, and it's because of the stress response and everything that goes right along with it. So yeah, so now here you are, you've been blindsided by the people that, because you're never betrayed by someone you don't know.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
always
Because you don't know
right.
it's even happening.
That's it. So your body, and that's actually stage two, which
Okay.
is the breakdown of the body, the mind, and the
Okay.
worldview. And this is the scariest stage because your body is completely freaking out. Your mind, now you're in the state of confusion, chaos, overwhelm, brain fog. You don't have any mental clarity. I remember one of my study participants explained it like this. Imagine every negative physical emotion you could feel and losing your child in a crowd.
Oh,
That's what it feels like.
yeah.
Right? Awful. So, and then the breakdown of the worldview. The worldview is the rules and how we view the world. Like, the world is safe. These are the people I can trust. This is how I sort of manage myself in the world. And stage two is just this complete breakdown because every rule you've had no longer applies. Your body's going crazy on you. Your mind is in this state of chaos, and there are no rules. So here's where the bottom just absolutely drops out on you, and a new set of rules. Nothing has emerged yet. So this is by far the scariest
Okay.
stage.
This is like that death of what we
Oh
were talking about
yeah,
before, right? The
and
hurricane or tornado taking down the house. That's stage two.
that's stage two, and nothing's been rebuilt. But then think about this: if you were walking down the street and the bottom were just to bottom out on you, you would do everything in your power to grab hold onto whatever you could
Hmm.
so you'd survive. And that's exactly what stage three is. It's survival instincts emerge, and this is a very practical stage. This is, how will I survive this? Where do I live? What do I do? Where do I go? Who do I speak to? How do I feed my kids? What, like, the most practical
Mm.
stage. And if you can't help me, get out of my way.
Yeah.
It's just this very extremely practical stage, but the stress response is still
It's
ignited
still
and
very
engaged.
primal, huh?
Very primal. We are still, we're not calm. This
Hmm.
is like a tornado's going on, and it's not the time to decorate the house just yet. There's
Yeah.
no house. We're figuring out, where do I even build, right?
Yes.
So that's stage three. And once we figured out how we can survive, how will I manage this? How can I make this work? We start moving into stage four, which is finding and adjusting to a new normal. Your old normal doesn't exist anymore. It isn't an option. And I sort of liken this to, if you've ever moved. You have you sold your condo, your house, your apartment, your office, whatever, and you're moving into a new place. Doesn't feel homey yet. Doesn't feel quite like
No,
yours,
of course not.
but it's
Yeah.
it's you don't know the route to get to wherever you're going to go, but it's going to be okay. And once you're in that stage, you're telling the stress response, okay, you know what, I'm doing a little bit better. I can calm down a little bit, and you're starting to heal. Once you've settled into that new stage, and you feel comfortable in your new stage, you start moving into the fifth stage, which is rebuilding. It's healing, rebirth, and a new worldview. Your
Okay.
body starts to heal. The new you is actually being reborn. And now, instead of just focusing, remember, we focused just on two legs of that table in the very
Yeah.
beginning, the mental and the physical. Now we're paying a lot of attention to the emotional and the
Mm.
spiritual as well. So we're grounded, and we have this new worldview now based on what we know. So this new set of rules is based on who we've become, what we know now.
It's pretty amazing, and I want to take a step back for a second, like the 50,000 foot view for people, because when they have that physiological that response, that stress response, I mean, their body's breaking down, and I'm sure those people are searching for every pill, every drug, every whatever that's really not going to fix anything. It's just going to mimic symptoms and hide things. But once they start to go through this process, their body, not only like psychologically, like they're going to heal from their body will probably also be healing at the same time, because things are going to start working better.
A hundred
Hormones,
percent.
everything. I mean, it's pretty neat.
And it's so true. The body starts working better, combined with we now have the bandwidth for our own self-care.
Yeah.
We don't
Okay.
care what we're eating in the beginning. We're not thinking about working out. But in stage 5, it's not even about weight loss. This is about self-love. Here we're saying, okay, you know what? It feels good when I move. Let me just tune into that. It feels good when I feed myself well. So we want to take better care of ourselves now because we're nurturing ourselves and we need it. So now the body is responding and we're paying attention to what is it that we need because I have the bandwidth to take care of myself now.
I think that's so great. I'm just thinking of the patients that I see in my own practice. It's like, wow, I think, everybody can use a piece of this puzzle to move forward in life.
It's in the beginning and in those earlier stages, and they're playing this game of whack-a-mole. They really are. They see the symptoms showing up and they're taking a pill. They're seeing an amazing health expert to tamp down whatever symptom shows up, but they're not really tackling what's at the very root of this, which is that unhealed betrayal and that feeling of being blindsided that has physical, mental, emotional, psychological characteristics that go to it. So when you heal from the root, it all heals.
Yeah. So are there, I know you have a quiz, which we're gonna send everybody to on your website. Mm-hmm. And in that quiz, does it give people an idea of where they may have been betrayed? Give us an overview of what people are going to find when they take this quiz.
Yeah, I'm going to be asking them some pretty pointed questions, and they'll see where their betrayal is coming from, and they'll also see that because they have an opportunity to just check off, all kinds of responses to see what that betrayal has left in its wake, what physical consequences, what's it prevented them from doing, how is it showing up in their daily lives, what physical symptoms are coming up, and there's something, I'm a big believer in you can't fix what you're not aware of.
Of course, I mean, how could you?
Right. So this brings it all to the surface. And then from there, they can say, oh, I get it. That's why I'm afraid to pursue that new relationship, or that's why I'm afraid to pursue that new job, or that's why, I'm shutting out, keeping out all the bad guys, but keeping out the good guys too, because, I haven't rebuilt that trust. And people can get honestly stuck in any one of those stages for decades, a lifetime, if they're not aware of it.
Wow. So they take the quiz, I'm going to take it myself, go through the quiz, we get our response back. What are next steps that we would take?
Yeah, the next steps could be anything from having that conversation with that person if you can, learning from it on some level. There's always something to learn. Like I was just speaking to a woman who was blindsided by a coworker. So what do you learn? You learn that instead of just assuming that the other person is on the same page, have a much deeper conversation before you go into business with someone. So much you see just by understanding, oh, I get it. That's where it came from. Or that family betrayal, has shocked me and rocked me to the core such that I haven't been able to trust a friend, a partner, anybody. And do I really want to create a life where I never trust again? If you don't trust again, you don't love again. This is you're going to see where you are so you can learn to trust again, heal again, love again, open your heart again. Because if you don't, life is like half lived.
Wow. That's it's big. I feel that this is, with our pre-conversation last week or 2 weeks ago, I didn't know we were going to even go down this road. This is like way, way, way better. I'm glad we're doing it via Skype. So, because I think this is, I think a lot of everybody's going to get something out of this. I don't care, man, woman, kid,
absolutely,
whoever. They're going to get something out of this conversation because it's bigger than them. Right. And I would say, I know I'm looking at your statistics now, but I would say, 100% of people in this world have been betrayed by someone, whether it's very tiny or very big. And I mean, you mentioned trust, and I'm just looking at your stats that you have right in front of me. It says 80% of people are hesitant to trust again.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy, right? Now think about it. If you're walking around not trusting the person you're working with, not trusting your friends, not trusting a partner of some kind, what kind of life is that? Now, I'm not saying learning to trust again is easy. It's terrifying because you have to be vulnerable. You have to give up. There are so many benefits that the ego gets when you don't trust again. You keep out everybody. It's hard work. And in learning to trust again, you have to open yourself up. You have to be vulnerable. It's scary. It's really scary, but it will change your life. I'm living proof. I mean, the reason why I'm coming out with my story and why I'm really creating, here I am at the PBT Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute, in New York, is because there's so much healing and transformation that can be done. And one of the things we created was certification programs where, because we don't reach out for support, but we need it. So, people can become a post-betrayal transformation support group host and practitioner. So my intention is to get these hosts and practitioners in every state, in every country, eventually every few blocks, and then my work is done because we need it. And when we understand that we can heal from this and how to heal, we move forward.
Yeah, that's great because you're one woman. And if you're in your head thinking other people are thinking, wow, I just don't have enough time to do this. Debi has 4 kids, 6 dogs, and a husband. Okay, and multiple businesses, she's clients. So you can take that out of your excuse not to kind of take a deeper dive in this. So the PBT Institute, that's in Long Island, New York, right?
It is.
Okay, and how would someone Well, we know why, but how would someone connect? And is there a state of betrayal where they would say, you know what, I need to take another step to have a deeper conversation with you?
I would just say, it's in everyone's best interest to take the quiz. You may score very low. You may not be struggling with post-betrayal syndrome. But if you even have an inkling that there's some aspect of betrayal that's holding you back in any way, we have programs to support it.
Awesome. I think that's so good. So I'm looking at the site right now. You can see the Take the Quiz button. I'm going to encourage everybody to go do that. I want you all also, there's some good news. She's a #1 Amazon best-selling author, too, if you didn't know that based on her bio, right?
I am.
Right, there you go. And she's all over podcasts. She's been in multiple places, which you've heard as well. So I encourage everybody to take the quiz, connect with her, connect with Debi on any way, shape, or form you can. And, if you do need to get over to that institute or you need to make that call, I'm sure she's going to be available. If not, she's going to have a team available to help you. So, Debi, I want to thank you so much. This was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much.
So good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm just getting the pause button on here. That was great.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I know it's not your usual stuff, but
but it fits perfect.
Yeah.
I've been kind of testing the waters and with this type of conversation with people. I did one on gratitude. I've done one on, like that. A lot of the headspace, that's become more of my excitement to have conversations about because everything starts there and everything ends there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's all part of what makes a quality life. And this stuff just trips you up and destroys what you've known. But man, you can create something so much better. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you personally because I'm going to get a lot out of this too once I re-listen to it and take the quiz. So
good. I'm so glad. All right. Well, however I can help you.
Thank you so much, Debi. Bye-bye. Hey, I hope you enjoyed Debi Silber. What an awesome interview. I absolutely loved it. Loved it. I got a lot more out of it than I thought I even would up front. Holy cow. I hope you got a bunch out of it also. And I apologize if you hear some clinking and clanking in the background here. My dog Gunner's in the studio with me today, and he is running and chasing his tail. It may have betrayed him. He's going a little nuts right now. So, just kidding. No, he really is chasing his tail in circles. But I want to make sure you head over to the show notes. Check out all of Debi's details. You can also head over to lifestylelocker.com/Debi Silber. That's lifestylelocker.com/Debi Silber. And you can connect with her there. It'll have all the details with the show notes, with YouTube, with her TedX talk, everything. Go take the quiz. I did. I want you to make sure you get something out of this that's productive and proactive just for you. So if you are in front of a computer or on your phone and you do like these shows, head over to where you're listening to your podcast and leave us a review. I greatly appreciate it. 5 stars, please. On another note, We greatly appreciate you. We've jumped over episode 100 or episode 102. Holy cow. And we're coming in hot. We got lots of great episodes coming down the pike for you. So we'll see you next time. Peace out.